We're not going to be celebrating British games next.
Oh, no.
We're going to be heading across the pond and then grapple hooking someone and bringing them back to us.
Oh, yes.
It is fantastic. BAFTA fellow, Mr. Tim Schafer.
Yay!
The audience is so quiet, but they're really excited.
They're really
about it.
into
Yeah,
it,
they're
don't
really into
worry.
it. Hi.
We
Well,
need to
nice
get-
to see you again.
Yes, you
Yeah,
too.
nice to meet you.
We
Hello.
need to get to the bottom of your trousers. Were they really?
The
were
bottom
they-
of my trousers.
Yes.
I forgot to pack the.
Did you actually?
Look, just look at the jacket. The jacket's
jacket's
great.
pretty
I wore a black
fantastic.
tie, which is what the instructions said.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
technically, black tie,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
purple jacket. Yeah, they changed the camera great. There's no need to talk about what's going on below the belt.
I am
forgot to
enjoying the
pack the
jacket
fancy-
very much. We went through the foyer to have our photo taken, and it was a sea of beautiful, very smart black tuxedos. And then I saw you, Tim, and I was just like, brilliant.
Yes.
Okay, the party's begun. Tim has arrived. He's got his jacket on.
Yeah.
Am I vibes enough? Am I?
Yeah,
With the
yeah.
color.
I
Yes.
think it's a little color.
Actually,
It's
okay.
a real
both
color.
together,
Yeah.
I'm liking the palette. You know,
Mhm.
it's colorful. It's exciting.
Yeah, as is Psychonauts 2.
Oh yes.
Oh, good way to bring that back.
Segue.
Nice.
Mwah.
Thank you
Chef's
very much.
kiss.
Professional.
17 years in the making was this game.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was like, I feel like I was like a kid when I met. I was pretty old, but like the difference between that game and this game, it was really nice because and a lot of pressure because the first game has its fans that you knew remembered everything, and if you got anything wrong, they would know. But you also have all these new people who don't know anything about it, and you've got to. But it was really fun, and it's really great to get the. All the response to it, and being nominated for the Beyond Games, the pretend BAFTA right here for, but it was nice to be nominated for that because it was, recognizing all the different things we touched in that game, and it was really, because the game talks on mental illness and
Right.
and different issues of like diversity and same-sex marriage and just
Helmet
empathy.
Fullbear.
Yeah,
Oh.
they were so good, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was really a whole team effort because as a writer, everyone has blind spots, and the team really helped me raise their hand and be like, what if we represented that character this way instead?
Well, I was going to ask, especially given that there is a 17-year gap between the first game and this game, did you feel like your approach to tackling those issues has evolved in some ways throughout that time?
I mean, I would say in the first game, it wasn't a conscious thought at all. It was just like, you're young and you're just trying to make a good story, but it was inherent to the mechanics of Psychonauts. It was all about, it's all about going into people's minds and seeing their demons, and it means that the gameplay is about empathy in a way, which led to, I think, a lot of nice things, like finding out that, the quote-unquote villains of the game have struggles they're going through, and you go into their minds and you see that, and it led to, like, that game having a nice tone, and it was almost like on accident. Now, as I'm older and the team has matured a lot, we're like, let's think about that more deliberately and really touch on all these other issues, because when you go into someone's mind, that's really invasive, that's really personal, and you have to really be sensitive to how you're representing things, not with stereotypes or shorthand notion, but like a really both like actual research about these about mental illness, but also the team's personal experience really helped make it about real things, and it was, I'm sure we didn't get everything right, but we got a lot of things hopefully
No, there
right,
were there were a lot of I really loved talking about consent, where Hollis Forsyth was involved, stuff like that. Like, you don't cross those boundaries, you respect people's boundaries. But I think it's so special to see a game that is designed maybe with kids in mind, for sure, not being afraid to go to some darker places as well, where alcoholism and stuff like that is concerned, and just really giving, I think it sort of maybe gave some kids maybe tools to talk about issues that maybe they're experiencing in their own lives as well.
Yeah, I mean, because they're adult situations, but your main character, Raz, is 10 years old.
Yeah.
And so he's got his take on it, and he never gets into all the terminology or stuff, but he reacts to it emotionally, and as a psychonaut, as a trained espionage, unit. But try to focus on the emotional side of it. If you're talking about addiction, instead of talking about it in some technical terms, talk about like what are the connections with other people in your life you've broken and that has allowed this to happen, and focused on that. And Raz reacts in such a, I think, kind of, I don't want to say wholesome, but he's a 10-year-old kid, and he reacts in a really
Hopeful and,
hopeful,
yeah.
exactly, and he has a nice perspective on things, but he still gets into it. But the thing that I'm also proud of is that we do all that stuff, but then we try to make it's a comedy, like we do like silly jokes and stuff, because I think people well, think if you tackle serious subjects, you have to be it has to be very dour. But I don't think it's true, because I think life is full of, everyone's life is full of happy things and tragic things, and I think humor is a great way to let people go into places they're scared of going.
And a spoonful of sugar with the medicine as well, helps a lot.
Now, Kimberly Brooks picked up the Supporting Performer
Yes.
Award. You must be incredibly proud of her.
Yeah.
What was it about her that made you go, this is the right person to play Hollis?
There's something about, I mean, we are first of all, super proud of her. It's so exciting. She's such a great actor, and that role of Hollis is so, it's a complex character who's really, stern at first when you meet her. She's really like no nonsense, and then you get to go inside of her mind and see the things she's wrestling with. And, when we talked to Kimberly about the character, I think she really liked those different modes and those different levels of vulnerability that she gets to show during the course of the game. And she did that role so perfectly, and it was really amazing to see her on stage tonight. It was so great.
Yeah. Were there any other nominees or winners that you were really excited to see up there?
I think they really regret not seating the unpacking people closer to the stage, because they won so many awards. I really loved seeing Unpacking, because we showed them first at Day of the Devs, which is a show that we did in San Francisco years ago, and it just always seems like such a special game. What I like about it is that it has I don't think there's any dialogue in that game.
No.
But it tells the story of someone's life, and through objects, which I think about a lot, because there's little objects in your life that, like, I have this little cube-shaped alarm clock by my bed that I've had. I looked at it the other day and I was like, I think I've had this for 35 years, and it's the dumbest piece of technology that I think I bought it at a drugstore like 30 years ago. And why is that still in my life? And you think about, like, your life through objects.
I did the exact same thing. Yeah, the flotsam and jetsam that you kind of pick up just moving through life. You don't really think about what's the sentimentality that's led me to hold on to this. And I think that game just captures it so perfectly.
And the character moves in with someone and moves out, and you're like, I think she stole some stuff from that guy.
Oh, the coffee making stuff in that? Yeah, it was so good.
It's really great.
It was really special.
I need to play it again. I feel like I didn't like savor it enough. Like, there are so many elements that I'm still thinking about now that I just need to kind of dive back in. And it's not like some of the games. There's so many games about looping, and yet I think Unpacking's got real replayability.
It really does, yeah. So I think the special thing to me was through just what you were doing, it was telling something. So the character, for example, very proudly displays their high school diploma in every place that they live in, and then they move in with someone who's maybe not right for them, and that person doesn't give them their own space enough to display their achievements, and you're like, this relationship is doomed. It's just so good at telling those little character beats without, as you say, saying anything at all.
Were there any games that you discovered tonight, or at least from the nominations, Tim, that you haven't played yet but you now will?
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of great ones. What's the one that won Beyond Games? The name is slipping my mind. Did you get to watch the show? Or were you back here?
We were watching it.
We were
Yeah,
watching
the
it.
whole thing,
We were commenting on it. I'm so sorry. It's been a really long night. But it was the game about sight and the ferryman.
Behind Your Eyes.
Behind Your Eyes,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, they're like some games I had not heard of, and
Yeah.
these shows are always great for, like, I make these notes for these games I should play, and then often don't play them because I've got to die a million times in Elden Ring before I get around to it.
It was
But
before Your Eyes, sorry. Yeah,
Before
absolutely.
Yours.
But yeah, no, there's so many games. Like, I try to play them all, but it's just impossible. You just can't.
when the
get around
awards,
to it.
I used to be on one of the awards panels, I think, and I don't know if you both are on those
Yes.
panels, but when you think you play games, right? You think I play games all the time. My family's concerned about how much I play games, and then you're on one of those panels, and like, by the way, you have to play all 8 of these games by the end of the year, and you're like, there's so many games.
Yeah, so many.
But,
So, what does the year ahead hold for you?
well, this year we shipped Psychonauts 2.
Yeah.
And did we plug Psychonauts 2 enough? It's still available. Go get it.
Go play it.
Nominated for many awards. Won Kimberly Brooks for Hollis. And so we shipped that. So we're in a mode of, for a lot of years we've been doing, we did all the remasters of the LucasArts games, and we did a sequel, Psychonauts 2. And before that we did a point-and-click adventure with Broken Age. So a lot of those are kind of like, not nostalgia-based, but like looking backwards a little bit. And now we're all super excited about, let's do something completely new. Just make up something new, because that's what I think at Double Fine we do the best, is just make up stuff that people haven't seen before.
Yeah.
I would love to be in the room where you make up stuff.
yes.
I
We
think it would be
we have a
absolutely
documentary crew
fascinating.
that films it all, so eventually it'll
We
all
will
come to
see
light.
it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that film. Tim Schafer, it's always a pleasure. Thank you ever
Yes,
so
thank
Thanks
much.
for having me. Thanks for having me.
Can we ask you, this is a cheeky question. This is slightly embarrassing because I met you at the 2017 Game Awards after party where I came up and was like, oh my God, you did Monkey Island. Can I ask about your reaction to the news that Monkey Island 3A is finally being made?
It's exciting. I'm really excited for fans who will get to play that game. Excited for that team, and that team is a great collection of people. It's the first thing I ever worked on in the industry, and it's really nice getting a chance to revisit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. There you go.
Well, thank you for honouring the question, and thank you for honouring us with your presence
Yes.
and that jacket.
We
for
will look out
honouring-
for that jacket downstairs in just a little bit.
I'm just going to keep adding accessories. There's a vest on order, so
Oh,
it's going to be just
perfect.
pretty soon. I'll just be covered in purple.
Incredible. Thank you so much, Tim.
Thanks for having me.
Yes,
And
thank you.